Now, Cooper, you're on the QRL board. Yesterday, there was an announcement that the QRL and Paul Green decided to part ways. They were going in different directions. Can you take us through some of the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, first week on the job. Pretty interesting. Obviously, Paul Green did a review of the season. I was put up to date with that late last week. And then on Monday, we discussed what was the things around the review and what needed to be implemented and the structure of how the QRL men's and women's program will change off the back of that. And then the conversation with Paul Green happened, and part of the things that he brought to the table was there a bit of continuity, a bit of longevity stuff. So he couldn't commit to that, and hence on Tuesday morning, I think it was, that there was agreeing to part ways. So now the part where we've got the structure, we know exactly what it's going to take, we just need to fit the right person in.
So who is that right person? Because Wayne Bennett came out today and said he's not interested in returning as Queensland coach. He's told everyone apparently at the QRL that this is not an option. He doesn't have a job for next year at the moment, but let's wait and see on that. So who else are you looking at?
Well, I think Wayne Bennett said he wouldn't do a lot of things throughout his career, and he ends up doing them anyway. So, look, obviously he's still available. And then the three guns. There's something about the crew being in and around it, but you've got to take a leap of faith with one of the three of them because they haven't got it. The only thing they've probably coached is their kids under 12 footy teams. So
the three guns are who?
Smith, Slater, Thurston. They're the three guns. There's something about... Look, let's go back to the coaching of Origin. For me, playing Origin is the second highest level of the game. Australia is number one. So the coaching needs to be at the same equivalent. If you're going to play at that level, the coach needs to see it as one of the highest accolades he can get. The coach in Queensland is not a halfway stop to getting back into the NRL, and that's where the Paul Green thing fell over. So I think we're at a position now that we know exactly what we want. We just need to fit the right person into it.
The reality is that no coach has ever given up NRL coaching to coach Origin.
Yeah.
No. And? So, well, my point is, see, in theory, the best 16 coaches of rugby league are coaching an NRL team. Now, you could argue, semantics over whether Paul Green is in that 16 or someone else is in that 16. But in theory, the best 16 coaches. Why wouldn't you look at someone, for example, a coach who's already coaching NRL who could also coach Queensland, like it used to happen? Yep. Why does it have to be a full-time job?
Yeah, because there's two parts to it. To coach in Queensland, you need to win the next series, but then you need to win the next 5 after that. That's as simple. And someone who's in an NRL coaching job cannot have an impact on the next generation of players or coaches. So I think it's two-pronged. There's been 3 coaches in the last 3 years for the Queensland Origin job. It's now time to really consolidate that position and find the right person who can win next year's series and set a legacy for the next 3 to 5 after that.
Would that person be Mal?
But by the sounds of it, though, the 3 you got in line have never coached a team before.
Yeah, and I'll go back to my philosophy on coaching Queensland or coaching Origin, is that sometimes you go over coach it. On the biggest game, one of the biggest games of the year, it's not about X's and O's. It's about providing an environment where the best players flourish.
Then why not get a club coach that can do that?
Because it's shown that sometimes the club coaches, Craig Bellamy, other ones in previous history have overcoached it.
New South Wales has shown the way forward. I mean, basically it's a New South Wales model with Brad Fittler. He's got a smart coach working.
The New South Wales model was the Queensland model.
Well, it was originally. But exactly, yeah. But that's the successful system.
Queensland aren't copying New South Wales already. Come on,
That's the system that's worked for 15 years now. You know, the guy who's not coaching. He has a smart coach with him. I mean, Mel's always had Neil Henry or someone like that alongside him. Brad's had Craig Fitzgibbon for the last 5 years. I'm sure Billy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Billy have a coach, a mentor working with him.
Does anyone see the absurdity it is that we have to sit there and say, right, we need the best available for Queensland, right? So they go and pick, and New South Wales too, right? Go and pick the best available who's not coaching NRL, whether it's Slater, Smith, Thurston. But to then get the job done properly, has to go and get an NRL coach to come in and provide all the tactics.
Well, it's to help.
As in, to your point,
Kenty. Billy's a very smart. You talk to people about Billy, and I'm sure Coops will back this. Tactically, Billy's highly intelligent.
Who's to say that the best candidates are coaching an NRL team right now?
Because in theory, the best coaches, and given that the NRL clubs are $15, $25 million turnover ventures, you get the best coach available.
But as I just said, Queensland or Origin coaching is a different format. So maybe the best coaching NRL doesn't fit the format of Origin coaching.
Which
So
I think
maybe the
Mal-
best candidate's not in or around.
But
Well,
then you'll
Mal
bring an
Meninga is such a
NRL
great
coach in, whoever finally gets appointed will no doubt bring an NRL coach in to come in and provide
maybe not.
that practical experience.
It doesn't have to be an NRL
Well, Neil
coach.
Henry's not an NRL coach.
I've got a
He
dollar
was
that says it is.
Well, Neil Henry's not an NRL coach.
Well, he was
Hasn't been for a
that.
while.
He was.
Reedy, you're part of the report in the Courier Mail that says Billy Slater is the preferred candidate. Why are they looking at Billy so strongly?
Well, I mean, they've got huge opinion of Billy Slater. I mean, he went close to getting the job last time, and there were people on the board who wanted Billy Slater to be the coach. And as I said, they've just got a huge respect for Billy's gravitas, but also his tactical knowledge and the way he sees the game. And I think those two things combined, along with the respect with which he's held inside Queensland Rugby League and what he's done for the Queensland team, I think if they approach Billy, I think Billy will take it, and I expect that to happen.
Is Billy the man?
Look, I'll say this: Wayne Bennett, Mal Meninga, Billy, Cameron, Jonathan. If any one of those appointed, we have 50% chance of better winning the game next year because of their ability to know Origin, know what it takes, create an environment. One, but other is to inspire that group.
Mel can't do it because he's an Australian coach.
But if he was able to work that out...
He can't though. They won't let it happen.
Can't do both.
They won't let it happen. They let it happen last year, they won't let it happen again. So you can put a line through Mel because his priority is Australia.
Queensland actually drove that rule way back in 1985.
And Wayne can't do it because one of the reasons Greeny's not doing it is because he's going to become an NRL coach. So if again the same rule applies to Wayne wants to be the coach of the expansion team. He can't give you a commitment, so you can't give it to Wayne. That just leaves Billy. Correct?
Thurston, Smith.
Well, yeah.
Maybe have to get Paul
Smithy
Kent to
won't do
support
it.
them.
Paul Cam won't do it full time. He won't become the head coach, please.
But can you realistically see Billy Slater, JT, who's already in the system, Cameron Smith being the coaching staff for Queensland next year?
Well, I've got no say in that. All I have a say in who coaches, and the coach then picks their staff off the back of it. But also got to remember that those guys, whether experienced or not, some of the best coaches at one stage were inexperienced. You've got to take a leap of faith at some stage.
When do you make a decision?
There's a board meeting within 2 weeks, and I guarantee it'll be made by then.
Sit tight.
Sharpen your pencils.
I love that. That's put lead in my pencil. That's very exciting.